Outnumbered is a British sitcom starring Hugh Dennis and Claire Skinner as a father and mother outnumbered by their 3 children. There were 5 series, which aired on BBC One in 2007, 2008, 2010, 2011 and 2014. Produced by Hat-Trick Productions, Outnumbered was written, directed and produced by Andy Hamilton and Guy Jenkin, although parts of the show are semi-improvised. The adult actors learn the scripts, while the children are given last-minute instructions by the writers instead. The program has received critical acclaim for its semi-improvisational scripting and realistic portrayal of children and family life. Ratings have been average for its time slot, but the series has won a number of awards from the Comedy.co.uk Awards, the Royal Television Society, the British Comedy Awards and the Broadcasting Press Guild. The first 4 series and the 2 Christmas specials have been released on DVD. An American adaptation is currently being planned. The series began airing in the US on BBC America on July 30, 2011, as well as airing on PBS stations. Other regular actors and actresses have reprised roles as supporting characters throughout the 5 series. Samantha Bond has appeared in all series as Auntie Angela, Sue's sister. David Rial has appeared as Grandad, Sue and Angela's father in Series 1 and 2 as well as the Christmas specials in 2009 and 2011. Rosalind Ayres has appeared as Gran, Pete's mother in Series 3, Series 4 and the Christmas special in 2012. Hattie Morahan has appeared in Series 1 and 2, as well as the Christmas specials as Jane. In June 2012, Outnumbered was recommissioned for a Christmas special in 2012. A 5th and final series was commissioned and the final episode was aired on March 5, 2014. Plot: Outnumbered is centered on the Brockmans, a middle-class family living in South London, whose 2 parents are outnumbered by their 3, somewhat unruly, children. The father, aged 50, Pete, is a history teacher at an inner-city school and the mother, aged 45, Sue, is a part-time personal assistant. The 3 children are, Jake, aged 17, the straight man of the family, whose teenage sarcasm and obsession with girls worries his mother, Ben aged 13, who is hyperactive, a pathological liar, does unusual things, and is always coming up with hypothetical questions like, who would win in a fight between? And Karen, aged 11, who asks too many questions, frequently imitates a lot of what she sees on television and criticizes nearly everything. Other regular characters include Sue's 51-year-old new-age sister, Angela Morrison, and their father Frank, referred to as Grandad, who is in the early stages of dementia. The writers also used a popular sitcom device of the unseen character in the form of Veronica, Sue's demanding boss in Series 1. In Series 2, the device is used again, but in the form of Sue's new boss Tyson, who is revealed to be a conman who absconds in the final episode of the series. Series 3 introduces Rosalind Ayres as Pete's mum, referred to as Gran, who is addicted to online gambling and has a growing hatred for Pete's father. Other new characters in Series 3 include Kelly, on whom Jake has a crush, Angela's new husband Brick, who is an American therapist, and his daughter Taylor Jean, who wants to live with her mum. Also introduced is a campaigner against council plans to place speed bumps on the road who pesters the family. By Series 5, the Brockman children have aged considerably, with the humor now focusing on Jake's penchant for engaging with his suspect crowd of friends, and teenage cockiness, Ben's sudden increase in size and strength but lack of maturity, and Karen's preteen sullenness and superiority complex. Production: Outnumbered was the first collaboration between Hamilton and Jenkin since Drop the Dead Donkey ended in 1998. It was commissioned by BBC controller Lucy Lumsden. The executive producer is John Rolfe. The 20-minute pilot was given to Lumsden, who then commissioned 6 episodes. The show is set in Chiswick, West London, and shot on location in Wandsworth. The house used for external shots is in Dempster Road. During the second series, the family receive a final demand for council tax from the fictional Limebridge Council, sent to the fictional address of 19 Keighley Road, London, W42CF. The writers use improvisation in order to achieve convincing performances from the child actors. Dennis commented, "In most sitcoms all the lines for children are written by adults. So they are speaking the words of people 30 years older. And you really want kids to have their own voices, and say their own things." Jenkin added, "You rarely get the feeling that children in sitcoms are real. They tend to be the same type of character, the smartass who says adult things, and they are rooted to the spot, staring at the camera, because they've been told to stand in one place and say the lines. We decided to attempt to do something that hadn't been tried before, bounced some ideas around, and we got very keen on this idea of involving improvisation very quickly." The fourth series began on September 2, 2011 at 9:00 p.m. on BBC One. After the series had aired, Tyger Drew-Honey suggested that there would be no fifth series because he and the other child actors were growing out of their roles. BBC Television's head of communications, Sam Hodges, reassured fans of the series that contrary to reports, talks are already underway regarding a new series. The fifth and final series was confirmed by BBC and began to air Wednesday, 29 January 2014. The series featured 6 episodes. Episodes. Ratings. Episode ratings from Barb. Series 1, Series 2, Series 3, Series 4, Series 5, Specials, Reception, Ratings. The first episode received 4.1 million viewers when it began and finished with 2.8 million at the end, which is larger than the average 2.2 million normally attracted by television shows in its particular time slot. The audience for the second episode fell by 500,000 viewers, while still being the highest-ranking show in its time slot, with 18% of the audience share. However, it maintained a constant audience throughout the first series, with the fourth episode attracting 2.7 million viewers. Critical reception. The show initially received a mixed reception, though after the second series reviews have gradually shifted towards a fairly positive tone. The Daily Mirror found the mundane settings to be similar to the American sitcom Seinfeld, saying, "Compared to the ridiculous carry-on of My Family, it's much more low-key and realistic. In fact, it's so low-key, nothing actually happens, which could well be a nod to Seinfeld, the touchstone of all great sitcoms. The getting ready for school chaos is like Supernanny, the movie only with nicer children. It's also taken a leaf out of Curb Your Enthusiasm's book with large chunks of improvisation, although the strongest language you'll find here is punk." Kevin Maher of The Times dismissed the program, saying it was not funny or dramatic enough. He wrote, "Outnumbered was at its most meretricious. For every exchange between adult and child was hijacked by a crass sitcom need for sotto voce punchlines and knowing winks to the wings. A protracted scene in which 45-year-old dad was unable to wrestle a live power drill from the hands of 7-year-old son Ben, and instead had to, pay him £5 for the privilege, was emblematic of the show's dubious capacity for fake payoffs." Rod Liddell, writing in the Sunday Times, praised the show, although he was somewhat surprised, saying, "An exquisitely middle-class, middle-aged domestic situation comedy set in West London, and starring one of those bloody stand-up comics who now festoons every network, it really should be hated before it is even seen. Start liking this sort of program and you are an ace away from enjoying Terry and June and having a house that smells faintly of weak tea, Murray mints and urine. So, maybe it's just me, but Outnumbered is very funny indeed. Despite its current bout of self-flagellation, the BBC still knows how to make people laugh. Comedy may be the very last thing the corporation does well." James Walton wrote in the Daily Telegraph that the domestic setting and more mundane storylines were a virtue, saying, "All of this feels both carefully observed and suspiciously heartfelt. More unusually, it's not contrived. Outnumbered sticks firmly with the mundane, yet manages to be funny about it. It doesn't avoid the sheer dullness involved in family life either, but, happily, depicts it with a winning mixture of exasperation and affection." He did, however, criticize the scheduling of the program, saying, "Despite the very specific London setting, the series will surely appeal to the parents of young children everywhere. As long, that is, as they're not asleep by 10:35 p.m. In 2008 review in The Times, Brian Appleyard described Outnumbered as the best British sitcom in years and among the best ever. Awards. Outnumbered was nominated for the 2008 Broadcast Award for Best Comedy Programme, but lost the award to The Thick of It. The show was given the British Comedy Guide Editors Award in the Comedy.co.uk Awards 2007 and the Best Returning British TV Sitcom in the Comedy.co.uk Awards 2008, beating Peep Show by 6 votes. In 2009, it won the Royal Television Society Award for Scripted Comedy, and 2 Broadcasting Press Guild Awards in the same year, Best Comedy Entertainment, and the Writers' Award. Outnumbered also won 3 awards at the 2009 British Comedy Awards, Best Sitcom, Best British Comedy and Best Female Newcomer for Ramona Marquez. At the National Television Awards in 2011, Outnumbered was nominated for Best Comedy but lost out to ITV's Benidorm. It was nominated again the following year and won. DVD releases. All 4 series and the 2 Christmas specials are available on DVD. The first Comic Relief special is available on the Series 2 DVD, the first Sport Relief special is available on the Series 3 DVD and the second Comic Relief special is available on the Series 4 DVD. It has been said that the second Sport Relief special will either be available on the next Christmas special DVD or the Series 5 DVD. The DVDs have been published by 2 Entertain. Series 5 was released on DVD on March 10, 2014 and also included the 2012 Christmas special on a separate disc. References. External links: Outnumbered at BBC Programmes, Outnumbered at TV.com, Outnumbered at the Internet Movie Database, Outnumbered at the British Comedy Guide. Review, Leicester Mercury.